Hello, everybody, and welcome back to College Basketball Courtside. And happy Friday! This is your one-stop shop for everything college basketball, coming from a guy who messes with ball. That's really it. I just mess with ball. That's why I love doing this. We're gonna start the show by recapping the first few games of the week that happened on Wednesday and Thursday. A lot of blowouts on games I thought maybe would be a little bit closer. Nebraska stays red hot. NC State picks up a 40-point win against Liberty. We're going to cover that in the first section. Then we're going to cover the best games to watch this weekend, why they matter, the stats behind them, and my predictions of those games. And we got four ranked matchups on Saturday. We continue to be blessed with great Saturdays of college basketball here in December. You still get a lot of the non-conference matchups, which can be ranked a lot of the times that you don't get later in the season, when it's this conference play. So we're still blessed. Don't take this for granted. Having these Saturdays where it's a lot of ranked matchups. Um, Going to finish the show with some rapid fire picks of the rest of the games this weekend to get you right for everything you need. First, going to start with that midweek recap with the Wednesday, December 10th games. First game, Minnesota 57, Purdue 85. So Minnesota gets smoked. They go to Purdue. It was a bloodbath in the second half. It was 32-35 Purdue at the end of the first half. So Minnesota really keeping it close, battling. But then Minnesota was outscored by 25 in the second half. It was 25-50. They're doubled up in the second half. Just a bad spot for Minnesota. Purdue's hungry, looking to get some more wins under the belt after getting crushed by Iowa State at home. So this is kind of a bad time to play this Purdue team. It's never going to be a good time to play this Purdue team. I'm still very in with Purdue. I think they're very good. They moved to 9-1 overall. Braden Smith, he was fantastic. Probably his most versatile game of his college career is my guess. 15 points, 12 assists, 6 rebounds, 5 steals, and 2 blocks. When was the last time he had that stat line of 2 blocks? Super impressive game from him. Oscar Clough, TKR, they both had double doubles with points and rebounds. And Daniel Jacobson, he had 4 blocks in 21 minutes off the bench. He continued to be their X factor. I think he can really push them to a higher level because of Jacobson's size, his skill set. Remember, he was a highly rated recruit, played with Team USA, dominated Team USA. So he has a ton of talent, and he is so scary for Purdue off the bench. And if he continues to get better like he has been, he has shown some insane flashes. He's really dangerous. One of the best six men in the country with Malik Thomas. I think those two right now probably the best, unless I'm missing somebody. But really good bench player, really high on him. The biggest stat with this game is rebounding. Purdue doubled up Minnesota's rebounds, 23-46. Kay Tyson, Minnesota star, averaging over 20 points per game after averaging single-digit points at UNC last season with barely any playing time. He had 15 points, 4 of 11 shooting. Jalen Crocker Johnson, he had awesome name by the way, Jalen Crocker Johnson. It sounds fake, but I love it. He had 17 points. Minnesota falls to 5-5, not getting any easier for them as they take on a Big Ten schedule with a Big Ten. Come to find out, might be one of the best conferences in the country, though they may be pretty top heavy, but not going to get any easier for Minnesota as they ramp up into Big Ten play. But next, we're going to cover Liberty, NC State. First, might take a couple extra coffee breaks this episode. I am pretty sick. And most of these I record in the morning, so it's really going to take some time to get my voice warmed up. So I apologize for that. So quick coffee break, and then we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Next game, Liberty, NC State. Liberty 45 at NC State 85. Just a bloodbath. What a get-right game this was for NC State. They played such a balanced offensive game, held Liberty to just 19 first-half points. I thought this was going to be a better showing from Liberty. They have some talent. They shoot the ball really well, though they've played a really easy schedule. But they still have been efficient this year. NC State not known for their defense. Their defense has been struggling all season long, but they locked in this game. held them to 45 points again on a really good, held them to bad shooting splits. Liberty's usually really good at shooting, so impressive defensive effort. Van Allen, Lubin, Matt Ebel, they each had 13 points for NC State. A lot of guys scored points for NC State. Again, it was very balanced. 13 was the most anyone scored, but it was just a lot of guys who did it. For Liberty, they had 17 turnovers, and they shot the following splits: 35% from the field, 21 from the three, and 3 of 10 from the free throw line. I mean, I know it was a 40-point game, so it doesn't really matter that much, but just 3 for 10, 30%. I mean, that's terrible. One of the weirder games you'll see is from their point guards at Cleveland. He played 33 minutes, so a ton. He played most of the game, right? He had 0 points, 0 of 2 shooting, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 6 turnovers. Just a weird game. You're not going to see many stat lines like that. Usually you're going to see at least a point from a starting point guard who plays 30-plus minutes, don't get into the free throw line, but only shot twice. And he had 6 assists, but he had 5 turnovers. Just a weird game. It was just pure domination. NC State dominated the glass, took care of the ball, shot 52% from the field, 42% from three. NC State moves on to 7-3 overall, and Liberty is 6-3. Next game, probably the most surprising game for me in terms of the final result. Wisconsin travels to Nebraska, and man, they just kind of bring it. Or I'm sorry, they don't bring it. Nebraska brings it. Yeah. Wisconsin 60, Nebraska 90. What a statement win this was for the Cornhuskers. They stay undefeated. They're 10-0 now, which is unbelievable. They continue to build a resume to say, hey guys, we're here and we're legit. We're a good basketball team. Rank Mast, he's so fun. Finished the game with 17 points, 10 boards, 7 of 9 shooting from 2. He was only 1 of 6 from 3. 1-3 coming in the first half, but really good offensive game for him. He's terrific. He's had a great season. He's kind of the engine, but this Nebraska team's balanced. 4 guys scored 14 plus points. Another guy had 12 points. So it's a really good offensive attack here for Nebraska. They shot the ball at 54% from the field, 37% from 3, 87% from the free throw line. I was correct in my preview in Wednesday's show saying there'd be a lot of 3 shot in this game. There were 62 combined 3-pointers attempted. That's a lot. That's crazy. That's getting the ball up from 3, but these two teams love to do that. Nebraska, I think they listened to the show because they stopped. I said, stop one of the 2 guards. Stop Nick Boyd or stop John Blackwell. Just one of them. That's all you got to do. And they did that. They held John Blackwell to potentially his worst game ever. 7 points on 1 of 11 shooting from the field. He just played bad. He just shot bad. And that's credit to Nebraska and their defense because he's a 20 points per game scorer. He's going to be an all Big Ten player. He had a few 30-point games already. Just a really talented guard, and they shut him down. Nick Boyd, he had 20. So they, again, let him kind of get his, but made sure, hey, Blackwell's he's not going to score on us. He's not going to beat us. Nebraska 10-0. If you were to ask me who, would have won this game earlier in the year, I said Wisconsin for sure. I didn't really know much about Nebraska. I did my research, but clearly not enough. So really good win for Nebraska. They continue to build a resume. They're 10-0. Wisconsin falls to 7-3. I'm a little worried about them now. Nolan Winters has been bad all year. And they just have not been as efficient as I thought they would be. Haven't been as balanced as I thought. I was really worried about this Wisconsin team, actually. So they lose big at Nebraska by 30. Those are the Wednesday games. We had one Thursday game, and I hope you guys stayed up and watched it. I mean, that was that late, but it was, end of the game was late for me. Iowa at number 4, Iowa State. Iowa battles. They lose a close one, 62-66, but I'll tell you what, they fought hard. They had a lead at half, and then that's kind of where things went to crap. They had a big lead, and actually they're up by, I think, 13 points at one point. And there's a stat where at one point in the game, Iowa had a 7-point lead, and that was Iowa State's largest deficit of the season, was 7 points. and they played at the number one team in the country. I thought that was incredible. But Iowa gave Iowa State their toughest battle so far. Um, but again, in my preview of this game, it kind of went exactly as I thought. Bennett Sturt's only had 10 points. He played every second of this game. He is an Iron Man. They said it in the broadcast, and it's the absolute truth. He plays a ton of minutes. He had 10 points, 3 of 11 shooting. All of his baskets were from three. He was 1 of 2 from the line. 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers. Um, just Taman Lipsey. And not even Taman Lipsey, actually. Killian Torrey, man, he is awesome. I love his game. He is so athletic. He is so disruptive on the defensive end. Just great physical tools. Knows how to play great defense. Wants to play great defense. The energy. And then if Lipsey gets switched on to him, great. Now you have the quickest hands in college basketball guarding you. So they just have so many different options to throw at you defensively on the perimeter and on the interior that it's just, this is what makes this team so good. Um, and now I do want to give Iowa credit because they control the pace of this game. It was a slower pace game. It was a lower scoring game. Both teams in the 60s. So they controlled the game. They just could not make shots when they needed to. And they had 16 turnovers. While Iowa State only had 9. They did win the rebounding battle by 31-28. Again, not a very big rebounding game because of how slow this tempo was. Want to get shout out Tate Sage. I thought he brought a ton of good energy. Freshman off the bench. He had 8 points, 4 of 6 shooting. Really good athlete, actually. I was really impressed with him for Iowa. Tavion Banks played really well for Iowa as well. 14 points, 4 rebounds. So, it was just Bennett Sturts got shut down. They almost won this game, even with Sturts shut down. So I thought Iowa, they showed a lot of fight, and they also showed how they're going to win games. They win games by executing on the offensive end in the half court. They have really good sets. They run them clean. They get off really good shots. I mean, they shot 51% from the field and 47% from three in this game against one of the best defenses in the country. And I had 16 turnovers and almost won. So just a really good game for Iowa. But Iowa State, they opened up on a massive run to start the second half. And just you can kind of see the talent level start to kind of separate. I mean, Joshua Jefferson, that's who I got to talk about. Man, he started off rough. I mean, missing bunnies, airball to three. I just thought, maybe it's not in the cards for him today. And he just stuck with it. I mean, 7 of 14 shooting. 7 of 9 from the line, 3 of 6 from 3. He hit 24 points, hit a huge 3 late in the second half to put them back up, I believe 4 or 5 points. He was terrific. He's so physical. He's so good. I love watching him play. I mean, right now he's definitely an All-American, and so is Lipsey, and so is Stelovich, who had probably the worst game of the three. So Lipsey had 14 points, 6 of 15 shooting. He missed some bunnies. He did have 4 steals, though, and a lot of them were crucial steals. His hands are so quick. He's so explosive. He has great bounce when he gets to the rim. I just really love his game. Jefferson, again, just a big physical forward who loves to get downhill. Kind of plays like Julius Randle. Doesn't shoot, I mean, he did shoot 6 threes, but, a little less jump shot reliant. Likes to get to the hoop a little bit more, as you can see with his free throws. But that's kind of my play style that I see when I watch Jefferson is Julius Randle, which is a great comparison. He was fantastic in college, and he's great in the NBA. Momcilovic only had 10 points, 4 of 7 from the field. They just really locked him down, and it wasn't meant to be his game, but they didn't need it. They shot so many more free throws. Iowa only shot 5 free throws all game. Iowa State shot 23. I think that was the biggest issue here for Iowa, is just their inability to get to the rim and draw contact, and just get to the rim in general. A lot of their shots were jump shots. So good win for the Cyclones, but it's almost a good loss for Iowa because they went to Iowa State, which is still a road environment regardless, and they took a really good Iowa State team down to the wire, and they played really well. I was impressed with Iowa, but we'll move on to segment 2, the weekend slate breakdown. This weekend doesn't have the top heavy quality of games like we saw last weekend, which last weekend might be the best weekend of games besides Feast Week potentially. But this weekend has a great depth of games. Really only one main game on Friday I wanted to touch on. Texas goes to number 5 UConn. Texas is 7-3. UConn's 9-1. Um, I think this Texas team is way worse than the record says. I don't think they're very good. The best win is against NC State by 5. NC State might not be that good. They got smoked by Duke, which that's fine. Not holding on against them. Most people have been smoked by Duke this year. Um, they gave up a monster lead to ASU and lost that. They got crushed by Virginia. So anytime they've played a solid or reputable team, they lost. Uh, I'm low on this Texas team. UConn's hot. They're playing some fantastic basketball right now. They got a lot of really good ranked wins. Illinois, Florida, just some good wins on the record. I think UConn exposes Texas for not being very good. Texas has been getting some top 25 votes, but those would get put to rest after this game. Texas can win if Terrace Reed doesn't play, and Matis V, I'm not going to try and pronounce his last name, big fella for Texas. If you can go to work in the post, he's been really good all season. I really like him. I really like their team. I like some of the individual players, Pope and Swain. I mean, I do like them, but I'm not very high on them, and that's okay. So I think UConn wins this one pretty convincingly. But we move on to Saturday, and here's the riches of the games. Some really good games. First, we're starting the Big Ten. Number 9, Michigan State. They're at 8-1. They travel to Penn State, who's 8-2. The only other teams of note Penn State's played are Providence. They lost by double digits, and Indiana. They lost by 41. Got smoked in Indiana. They traveled there. So this is going to be a big test for Penn State, again, with only playing 2 real teams of note and getting smoked by double digits. Kind of same thing as Texas. I think the little, yeah, they're 8-2, but is that how good they actually are? I don't think so. The strength of schedule is pretty bad. For Penn State, they're a horrible rebounding team. They're not physical. This plays right in MSU's hands. And MSU should dominate the interior because of that, especially coming off a loss at home against Duke. They're going to be hungry to beat up on Penn State. So I think Jackson Kohler, Carson Cooper, Cohen Carr, their interior players are going to have a huge game, especially Kohler. I mean, he's just been a monster all season, one of the best bigs in the country, I think. I think the big 3 of those are just going to really dominate. I think Jeremy Fears is going to make star freshman Caden Mingo. He's Penn State's leading scorer. I think he's going to make life really hard for him. And he could have his freshman game where he struggles. So I think this is going to be a beatdown. I think Michigan State's the least ideal matchup for a small and not physical front court like Penn State. Only way Penn State can win this is if they keep MSU off the offensive glass. Michigan State's not a good shooting team, so making sure Kohler doesn't get second chances, making sure Cooper doesn't get second chances. Those guys love to rebound and love to get second chance points. And if they shoot a high percentage from 3, again, look for Kate Mingo. He's been great this season, but has a really tough matchup with Jeremy Fears. Next, we got our first ranked matchup. Number 17 Arkansas travels to number 16 Texas Tech. Both teams are 7-2. I am so excited for this game. This game has a lot of talented players, a lot of individual talent. JT Toppin's a monster, Big 12 Player of the Year last year, All-American last year. His counting stats have only gotten better, averaging about 23, 22 points, about 11 rebounds, 1.5 blocks, just does it all. Christian Anderson, he's had a breakout year that most people projected. Can score well, shoots the ball at a high level, averages a ton of assists, just really good. Darius Acuff Jr., he's looking like a lottery pick as a freshman point guard. Just plays at his pace, shoots the ball well, gets downhill, makes the right play, averaging 5+ assists. Just a really talented John Calipari guard. Malik Thomas, one of the best bench players in the whole country. I think he is the best bench player in the country. Scores a ton of points. Loves to shoot that jump shot with his length, his athleticism. He's a hard guy to block and stop scoring the ball. Texas Tech, they shoot just 44% from the field as a team. Toppin and Anderson, they both shoot better than that. It's the rest of the team that kind of needs to step up a little bit. It is a pretty top heavy team where it's really just Toppin and Anderson, and then Atwell's obviously good, and they do have some talent, but they just haven't quite shown up as much as these two. I mean, these two are so relied on. They put up monster stats. Um, Texas Tech, they do make 11 threes per game on a respectable 36.5% shooting, so really good 3-point shooting team. Even with Toppin being a sub 20% 3-point shooter is not his game at all. So they do light it up from three. Um, Texas Tech has played two really good teams this year in Illinois and Purdue. They lost to Illinois. They got trampled by Purdue. They don't have a great win on the resume yet. So this is a huge game for them. I think this is really a good setup game before the Big 12. Big 12 is probably the best conference in college basketball this year. So this is a get right game. This is a measuring stick game for Texas Tech. Hey, are we actually, a top 20 team? Do we have potential to be a top 10 team? These are the games you have to win, right? Home court, you haven't won a big game yet. You have the talent. That's not the issue. Everyone's healthy for the most part. This is a game that you gotta win to add to the resume, which has been not great so far. For Arkansas, their two losses, close games against Michigan State and Duke, which is fair. Two top 10 teams. They beat a really good Louisville team at home. This team goes as Darius Acuff goes. He's going to have his hands full. Christian Anderson's a great offensive player. He's a really good defensive player as well. So a really good point guard matchup for this. I think Texas Tech is going to get a ranked win, get the lift they need, get the resume builder they need. I think JT Toppin is too dominant in this game. And I think Christian Anderson can offset Acuff enough where, I think Anderson's going to have the same game, if not a better game than Acuff. But I think it's going to be a close game. I think Arkansas can win this game. If their bench shows out like usual, Malik Irwin, he's been good off the bench this year. He has the capability to have big games. And if they can get to the free throw line like they usually do and draw some fouls, maybe on JT Toppin, he likes to jump it a lot. He's a good shot blocker. So if they can get him in foul trouble, get to the free throw line again like they usually do, they can win this game for sure. I think it's going to be a really close one. But next, we're going to go for a Big Ten ranked matchup, a team we've talked about a lot already. The show, number 23, Nebraska. They travel to number 13, Illinois. Nebraska, obviously 10-0. Illinois 8-2. They play another fun team in Illinois. This is Nebraska's biggest test yet. Only ranked game they've played so far. Obviously, Wisconsin was ranked at 1 point, but only game that has been ranked for them. Illinois is way more battle tested, having 4 ranked matchups so far. They've split those at a respectable 2-2. For Illinois, they just have so many offensive weapons. 4 guys average over 14 points per game, and Tomislav Ivic is not one of those players, and he is probably one of their best players. Just kind of been battling injury, been in and out of the lineup. He's fantastic. Mirkovic and Wagler, really good star freshman for Brad Underwood. Man, what a great freshman class this has been this season. 2 guys who go under the radar, but both averaging 14 plus points. Mirkovic dominating the glass. Nebraska brings some great shooting and also a pretty good amount of scoring options as well. Nebraska's defense is also sneaky good. I mean, you saw it against Wisconsin, holding them to only 60 points, and John Blackwell to 1 of 11 shooting. They have the 25th best defense according to KenPom. However, Illinois is the 5th best offense. So is it enough to stop them? Probably not. I think the size of Illinois is going to help a ton because they can throw multiple defenders and options and looks at rank mast. Nebraska's best player plays that 4 position. So I think Illinois' size and physicality and they're battle tested. I think that's going to end up winning them this game. It's also on their home floor. It's going to be a welcome test for Nebraska, who's hot, but I think they get a little overwhelmed here and lose to Illinois in a road win. But going to be a good test for Nebraska. They can win this if they shoot the 3 a little better than they did against Wisconsin. They struggled, but they can shoot the 3 really well. They take a lot of threes, make a lot of threes. And if they can keep Mirkovic off the glass, he's a monster on the offensive and defensive glass. He's relentless. So gotta stop him. I think Illinois wins this one. They host number 23 Nebraska. Next game, number 19 Kansas takes on NC State. They actually travel to NC State. Both teams are 7-3. And sound the alarm, folks. Darren Peterson is back. He played against Missouri, Kansas's last game. Had 17 points on 14 shots, going 3 of 9 from three. In the few games he's played this year, he's hit 3+ threes in every game on good shooting percentages. So that's really encouraging. I know NBA scouts love it, but just for Kansas in general, it's really encouraging because that's the one thing they struggle with is 3-point shooting, and he can bring it in spades. He's really good at shooting, and he brings a great defensive presence. This should be a good game for him because NC State loves giving up points. Obviously, they played a good game against Liberty, but this is a much more talented Kansas team. He can score in a hurry against this NC State team. This could be a welcome back game for him. This Kansas team, though, I want to make sure they get their love without Peterson because they become elite defensively. Trey White has really stepped up in a big way. I think he's been their best player. Honestly, he kind of is the engine. But Duggan's been great, fantastic. But Trey White, man, he's been their guy. NC State, they pick up a good 40-point win against Liberty. This is going to be a big test for them with Kansas's defense and what they can throw at them. A lot of good individual defenders. Obviously, a great rim protector and rebounder in Floyd Badunga. Kind of sitting back there looking at you, begging you to come shoot a layup on him. I think the biggest issue with NC State in this game, besides their defense, which isn't usually that good, is the lack of size. They're a small team. Floyd Badunga, I think he's poised for a big game. And I think that's going to end up winning Kansas this game. I think they pick up a good road win because of their defense and their size. Two things. Even if Pearson has a bad game, I think Badunga is going to be too good, and they'll get enough stops on the defensive end to win this. NC State can win this game by staying hot offensively, and I think Van Allen Lubin needs to outplay Badunga. He's a huge physical guy. Badunga is a little more wiry and athletic, but Van Allen Lubin's a lot stronger. He's about 250, so he's a big dude, 6'9", lower center of gravity. So if he can outplay Badunga, I think NC State has a really good shot. Next game, the highest ranked game, my game of the weekend, I should say. Number 1, Arizona. They travel to number 12, Alabama. Man, first of all, Alabama, what a tough schedule they have. Their non-conference has been crazy. Two super talented teams squaring off. It's going to be a harsh environment in Tuscaloosa. It's a huge test for Arizona. I think Alabama has a very clear edge in the backcourt with Philon, who's one of the best players in the whole country. He probably has really good odds to win National Player of the Year. I bet you he's probably top 5, probably 5th. So I think him and Aiden Holloway are clearly better than Jaden Bradley and Arizona's backcourt. No disrespect to Jaden Bradley. More so a compliment to Alabama. But Jaden Bradley is a great defender. And he could, I wonder if they're going to put him on Philon and try and slow him down, or just try and put him on Holloway and shut him down completely and kind of let Philon get his. Alabama's front court, though, they're going to need to be on their game. They need to be able to rebound and compete on the interior with Krivas and Koa Pete for Arizona, who are both just terrific, big, physical guys who can score well in the interior. With Koa Pete, he's never sped up. He's balanced, great mid-range. He loves using his body and his physicality to get easy buckets. So I think Alabama's going to struggle with this front court. I think it's going to be a fun, fast-paced game. Both are top 40 in pace. Alabama's 8th, Arizona's 38th. My prediction for this game, I think Alabama wins it. I think they're on their home floor. They take down the number 1 team. I'm so bought into this backcourt for Alabama. Probably a little too high on them, but I think they just have a little bit too much offense for Arizona. Arizona is not a good 3-point shooting team. Granted, they don't shoot threes, really, so they know they play their strengths, but I think Alabama just has too much, and it's going to be tough to come from behind against an Alabama team when you can't shoot threes at all. So I think Alabama wins it. Arizona can win this game by feeding the paint, controlling the glass, and closing out on shooters. I think it's the biggest thing for Arizona is limiting Alabama's 3-point shooting because, again, like I said, it's tough to come back only making twos with a team that can lay it up from three like Alabama. So really good matchup. Arizona travels to number 12 Alabama. Um, a really good test for the number one team in the country, and I think they lose. That's the big storyline here. I think number one Arizona goes down. Um, Next game, another ranked matchup to end Saturday night slate. Number 25 UCLA, they travel to number 8 Gonzaga. UCLA 7-2, Gonzaga 9-1. These are two completely different teams. Gonzaga's big, physical. They're going to dominate the interior, push the pace, play fast. UCLA, they like to play slow, almost too slow, kind of boring at times, but they play really slow. They try and get good shots. If you've asked me before the season who's going to win this game, I would say UCLA for sure because of their backcourt and they have the clear advantage here on paper. But we have to talk about one of my favorite players in the country last season. Somebody I was so excited for this season, Donovan Dent. Just been bad this year. Man, been disappointing. I mean, I don't think he's been able to take advantage of these Gonzaga guards that he should be more talented than, but he's just been so bad. Shooting in the single digits from three. Um, he doesn't shoot them. He's only had one all year, but just been bad at the free throw line. Shooting under 40% as well. Just I don't know. He just doesn't look like himself, which is unfortunate. Still averaging a good amount of assists, but I thought he was gonna be 18 points per game, lighting everybody up like he was last season, getting to the rim at will, shooting for a ton of free throws. That's just not what he's doing at all. I don't think he's gonna take advantage of these Gonzaga guards, but if you asked me before the season, I probably would say UCLA wins this because of their guards. Um, I think it's be close to start. UCLA still does have a lot of talent. Tyler Bilodeau, he's had a good year. Xavier Booker, Sky Clark, Eric Daly, they still have had a good season, and they're still ranked, obviously. But um, I just I don't think they can hang with Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga's too big, too strong. I think they flex their muscles and take this game over. Um, Graham Ike and Braden Huff. I think they're gonna have like really big games. They've been really good all season. They usually kind of go as each other go. So either both have a great game or both have a bad game. Um, but I think Gonzaga wins this one. UCLA can win if Donovan Dent returns and he fries these Gonzaga guards like he can. But I just really don't think he can. He can. He has not been showing it. Um, so that's the end of these Saturday games. Sunday, honestly, no really big games to cover. I'll cover a lot of lower level games in the rapid fire section at the end of the show. Um, but no major games to report on for Sunday that I really want to break down and dive into. Segment 3, we're going to do the upset radar. Who are two matchups that I think have a lot of upset potential, if that's what you're looking for? If you're an upset chaser, like a storm chaser, these are the games to watch. I just covered it. Number 12, Alabama over number 1, Arizona. Alabama has the best player in the floor, I think. They're a much better shooting team than Arizona. Alabama's front court's been improving. Amari Allen, he's been getting better each game. Aiden Sherrill, he's been a monster defensively with rebounding and blocks. They continue to get better, and Taylor Bull-Bowen is the leading scorer of their bigs. So 3 bigs that can really do a lot of different things. And then they have a lot of options against this Arizona front court. So I think Alabama, that's the team to watch to pull off a big upset. Also, NC State versus Kansas. I think probably a little bit less of an upset. They are at home. Kansas isn't, one of the best teams in the country, but they're still a top 20 team, have been all season really. NC State just smoked Liberty, and they've been desperate for a big ranked win. I think they bring their best basketball. I think they have the talent. Darren Williams, if he has shown flashes this year of Darren Williams of last year, but he's been pretty up and down. I think he brings his best, and I think NC State can beat Kansas. So I think that's the other game to watch if you want, a ranked team losing. If you want a big upset, Alabama takes down Arizona, NC State takes down Kansas. Now, last section, let's do the rapid fire section. Going to cover Saturday games. I got no games to report on for Sunday. There's just really nothing at all. A couple of mid-major games, nothing to really write home about. But let's dive right into the rapid fire picks for Saturday. Okay, first we're gonna start. Iona travels to number 22 St. John's. St. John's they cruise to an easy victory here, no upset chance. St. John's wins big at home. Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, another in-state rivalry. Um, I think OK State wins, and they move to 10-0 in the season. Look at OK State. Marquette travels to number 6 Purdue. Marquette, I think they're 5-5 right now. I think they fall to 5-6 this season. Purdue's so much better. And Marquette continues to slide and just have a kind of season from hell a little bit. This whole Big East is just struggling. Providence Butler, another Big East matchup. Um, well, last one was a Big East matchup, but two Big East teams play. This is a really important game with Big East being more open than we thought. I think Butler controls the game on their home floor and they'll win. Indiana, they travel to Kentucky. Kentucky, they're 5-4 on the verge of being 500. I think this team's quit. I think Mark Pope has lost this team this season. Give me Indiana. Uh, Lamar Wilkerson had 44 points last game, school record. Tucker DeVries, bucket. I think they bring too much offense for Kentucky. Michigan, number 2 Michigan, they travel to Maryland. Michigan, I think, is the hottest and best team in the country. Obviously, if you're watching YouTube, I got my Michigan quarters up on. But I think this is a beatdown for them. They have too much size. Farrell Payne's not going to be able to dominate. He's a really good big for Maryland, but he's not going to be able to do what he wants to do. So Michigan picks up a good win at Maryland. West Virginia travels to Ohio State. Neither one of these teams have had a great win, but they do have some talent. I think Bruce Thornton for Ohio State is way too good. He has a huge game in this win. He's had a couple 30-point games this year. He's just been awesome. And go look at his shooting splits when you have a second. Over 60% from the field, over 50% from three as an undersized guard. I mean, incredible. He's 25 of 45 from three. That's crazy. um, SMU, they traveled to LSU. LSU's better than expected. They have a lot of new faces, but they've been pretty solid this year. I think SMU is slightly better, and I think they pick up a really good road win in the SEC. So give me the SMU Mustangs over LSU. But you guys, that's the end of the show. We covered some of the Wednesday, Thursday games, including a really good Iowa State game. Previewed Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Again, Saturday we have 4 ranked matchups and just a ton of fun. Ton of really good matchups. A lot of individual talent playing this weekend. I think the number 1 team's going down. I think Arizona loses to Alabama. So really good Saturday slate you guys got to watch. Sunday, don't have too much, so you got one day to lock in, and it's Saturday, or just watch some replays on Sunday. But you guys, this is College Basketball Courtside. Thanks for watching. If you're on the YouTube, thanks for listening on Apple or Spotify, and watch out for Monday's show. I'll cover all these matchups that we just previewed with the results, March Madness implications, all that fun stuff coming on Monday. But everybody, have a great weekend. Wash your hands, get safe, get sick. Don't get sick. Get healthy, I meant to say. Like myself. Have a good one.